Hi, and welcome to Dream Team Mastery. So I'm very excited that you've made it this far in the course. You've already completed your brand mastery. So you have your brand guidelines dialed in, as well as you've got your chat GPT, your AI. You've welcomed AI to the team. This is going to be huge for you. There is a method to my madness. I promise, I promise, I promise. And now you've also completed the core competency mastery, which is incredible because now you have a little bit more of an understanding of what's going on in your business. So if you are a brand new business, then you have a plan for what do you want to focus on versus what are the things that you want to either bring in an additional person or persons or teams or potentially outsource. So you can sort of see where your zone of genius is. And if you have a business that's already established, this is great because you probably found some white space and some opportunities and some gaps. And you probably learned some things about your team from going through that zone of genius exercise with both the brand and then also the individual team members. It's honestly, it's a very, very positive cultural experience to go through the zone of genius. Because if you have teams that feel that maybe potentially you don't really understand what they do, it doesn't feel like things are going to change. Honestly, I'm not sure where you are in your business, but this is going to help you at least get the lay of the land. And I know that I've had people come to me after I've come into working with a client and I've actually administered this exercise and we've gone through the business. And I've had people literally come to me and say, for the first time, I actually feel like there's hope that we're going to get on track and that we're going to start growing this business because I see some of the ways you're moving through the business. It makes so much sense to me. So I feel like these two modules, if you're effectively doing what you need to be doing and taking action and really being a leader, you're definitely going to feel the difference just in those first two modules. And we haven't even finished. So now we're going into Dream Team Mastery. This is your team, your who's. We're going to understand and identify the right roles and talents for executing your online strategy. So I'm really excited. This is going to be a very short lesson that we're going into right now. And I'm just going to be taking you through some of the e-commerce operation, the roles that live behind the departments that we talked about in previous lessons. So before we jump into that, here's the hard truth. Understanding where you are and where you want to be is mission critical. This is so important. We kind of went through that when you went through the branding exercise as well as going through the zone of genius exercise. I'm guessing that you're a little clearer on where you are right now, current state, and where you want to be. Because now you see where your brand is and you've brought your brand guidelines to life. And now you see where your people are and what's going on in your business. So this is, there's a method, not to overuse that, but there really is a method to how I think about things. It's sort of peeling back the layers, seeing what we have so that we understand where we want to go. The other piece is that trying to do all things is the killer of progress. When you did your analysis, you might have discovered that you yourself are trying to do too many things, and that is killing your progress, and you're not seeing the results that you want to see. And you could even be not loving your business or your brand as much as you thought you did and questioning your passion. If you are an existing business, you could be noticing that your teams are doing too many things and that what you thought they were focused on is not really what they're focused on. So we really need to be thinking about when we're going through this next part, right? Building our team, we need to be thinking selfishly a little bit. What do I really need to be focused on? And what are the things that I either need to bring in a new role or potentially outsource to a partner? The market and your competition never wait. I've been in brands that have said, it's okay, our customers are very loyal. I'm sorry to break the news to you that they are not. They will move on. They will move on because it's like your Instagram feed. How quickly do you move on to the next story, to the next this, to the next that, the next product, the next idea, the next song, the next whatever it is? This is what's happening, unfortunately, with our consumers. They are moving on. I'm not trying to create fear with you. I'm just trying to set the tone that we should not be waiting. You need to take these things seriously. If you are at the beginning of your journey with your brand, kudos to you because you can start off the right way. If you are stuck or stagnant and you purchased this course because you know that you've got to try something, this is a point where you need to make sure you say, okay, I need to start taking action. You must prioritize momentum. This is so essential. I talk about momentum a lot. And the reason I do that is because the teams, the people, the company, the brand, your customers need to see that you're having momentum in your business. And what I mean by that is small wins that create movement forward momentum. It's really important. I know that it feels intangible, but I promise you, if you start getting small wins, even going through the exercise with your team, doing the zone of genius, listening to your team and learning, believe it or not, that was momentum in your business. Creating your brand guidelines and actually doing something and completing something and having those meetings with your teams to express, here's what's going on with our brand and here's our new brand guidelines, and sharing that was momentum. So we are creating momentum with this course. And if you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing in these lessons, you are going to be already seeing momentum. But it's really important that we prioritize that. So as we move forward to building the teams, it's about creating momentum, creating wins. This is not a one and done. This is a continuous journey. Product first wins the race. I say this, I'll say this again. If you get your product right, you'll spend less on marketing. You'll have less friction in your business. The product will enable you to do all the things you want to do. Your customers will send you customers. Your customers will come back. So these are all really important pieces that you need to really embrace. That product is everything. So anything that distracts you from getting your product right should be something that's of heightened concern for you, and should be something that you set aside and say, okay, how do I remove this distraction? How do I quiet this distraction? Because it's keeping me from getting my product exactly where it needs to be. And then your customers aren't as forgiving as you think that they are. So I know that I've gone through situations with clients that I've had major situations with their products, or situations with not being able to ship, not being able to deliver, having a lot of damages, whatever it might be. Honestly, the customer, I think we underestimate how quickly the customer will move on, and they do have a higher expectation. Things have changed every month. This changes for customers. Their expectation goes up because there's someone else out in the marketplace that is just hitting home runs with them. And so then their expectation, the bar goes up. It becomes whatever the best experience they've had is. That's their new bar. And unfortunately, we're always chasing that bar. So please don't take your customers for granted. Don't take your customers for granted, and don't take your teams for granted. They are everything in your success in your business. So this is just a quick flash of we've already talked about these departments, but I'm just bringing them up here just to kind of jog your memory of the 6 different departments that we have in e-commerce operations. Now we're going to talk about the roles that live within each of those departments. So let's talk about the who's. Again, don't get attached to titles here, because the titles and companies will vary based on the size of the company and the type of company. But in e-commerce, you can have anything from a lead, a coordinator, a manager, a director, a vice president, an executive vice president, a chief officer of whatever department. So just know that I'm not really focused on titles, because to me, that is something that you'll need to decide based on the size of your business. This is more of just the functional roles that live within each of these departments. So for product and design and development, it's product lead and brand lead. This is where your product is created. As you can see, it's pretty obvious. And this is also where a lot of your brand building happens, and your brand vision and all of those things. Where are we taking the business? Where are we taking the brand? And then we have sales and marketing. In the world of e-commerce, this is all about generating leads, generating impressions, generating traffic. So you'll have a digital marketing lead, a content marketing lead, and analytics, someone who's analyzing the business, analyzing the data, and helping everyone make better decisions. And then you'll have web design and development. Again, this could be your designer for whoever's designing your actual website. This could be a front-end developer, a back-end developer. This could be specifically for UX and UI, which is user experience and user interface. So it could be someone that's specifically working on what is happening when a customer hits your site, and how do we make that an easier, with less friction path for them. So that is the web design and development. Those are the roles that live within there. Again, there's other ways to talk about these things, but these are just high level, the types of roles you see most often. Finance and inventory planning, that can be an accountant, that can be a controller, that can be your CFO. It can also be an inventory planner, a merchandise planner, but it's very much about planning. You're making sure that your financial goals have mapped merchandise inventory goals to support that. And then order fulfillment. This is exactly what you would think. It's your whole warehouse operation. It's everything from once that customer clicks to buy, what happens with that order once they click, yes, I buy, my credit card goes through, they get their invoice. Now this order gets dropped into a warehouse and all of the fulfillment starts. And then we have customer support. Of course, this is a big part of the customer journey. It can be before or after the purchase. And these are the kinds of roles that you'll see: customer support specialist, customer feedback analyst. Again, depending upon the size of the company, it could be one person doing all of these roles. It could be, you could have a team of 5, 10 people in customer service, even more. You could be outsourcing it. But this is just a high level to give you some insight into the types of roles that live within e-commerce. Again, a big part of this course is educating you on all the things that happen within an e-commerce business and really helping you to make better and more informed decisions. So we'll be moving on to the next lesson to go in a little bit deeper, but I wanted to make sure that you take some time. A great exercise would be to just kind of go through and be, who are these people within each of these areas for me? And kind of just be thinking about that as we move into the next lesson.